Hello everyone, this is Adam with the Fear No Evil channel, back with another Saturday security tip. This is going to be part 3 on shark bumps, and hopefully we'll wrap things up today and be ready to move on to another topic next week. By the way, if you have an idea for another topic, let me know in the comments or whatever social media platform this is posted in. Also, I've noticed that I've gotten some notifications in Rumble and YouTube. That's UGE Tube, Utah Gun Exchange. Those are the primary places where I post videos. I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. I reluctantly post videos on YouTube just because that's where more people are. But wherever you find this, give me some feedback of what other topics you'd be interested in. But today we're talking about shark bumps, and we're going to review and then wrap things up. So a shark bump is a seemingly innocent way for a criminal to approach you to see if you're going to be a good victim. So some of those ways are asking for $1, asking for a light, asking for a cigarette, asking for directions, some innocent seeming way that they can get into your presence and close the distance and see if you're going to be compliant and you're going to be an easy victim or not. We gave you 3 things to look out for to gauge whether you are experiencing a shark bump or not. So I told you to beware if it's an unsolicited contact from a stranger in a place that you didn't go to socialize. So an unsolicited contact, you didn't ask for it. So a stranger, that's self-evident, in a place you didn't go to socialize. So we're not talking about your country club, your dog park, your house of worship, or anything. You didn't go there to socialize. We're talking about like a parking lot, dark alley, street in the city, or something like that, parking garage. You're not there to socialize. So if you experience all 3 of those things, unsolicited contact from a stranger in a place that you didn't go to socialize, beware, you might be experiencing a shark bump. So we gave you several things to do to respond to that. First thing is, do not comply. If they say, "Excuse me, sir, could you tell me what time it is?" This does not need to be the first thing that you do. You don't need to signal that you're going to be a good compliant victim and do whatever they tell you, and take your eyes off of that potential criminal that may be approaching you, and let them see whether this is worth robbing from you to take to the pawn shop or not. So don't comply and take charge. These really could be the same thing, but I broke it down just to keep it simple. So instead of them telling you what to do, you're going to tell them what to do. If they really just want something simple from you, they won't mind following some instructions. Hey, I just need $1 or whatever. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. You walk over there. I'm going to set it down. You can get it when I walk away. Something like that. And so you're going to have to use your imagination and think through some things, because I can't give you every example right now. But don't comply. Take charge. Manage your space. You do not want this stranger that's initiating the unsolicited contact potential shark bump. They may be approaching you with criminal intent. You do not want them in your space. So don't be afraid to say, "Hey, back up. Give me some space. Walk over there. Get on the other side of this obstacle," or whatever. Manage your space. And if you need to back up or put something between you and them, then you do that also. So manage your space. Don't let them in your space. Maintain awareness of your surroundings. So once you've done the first 3 things and you've gotten this initial person that contacted you under control, look around, make sure they're not working in concert with somebody else. Nobody else is going to creep up on you. And then break contact, and do that on your terms. So if you need to say, "Hey, I got to go," and you just keep walking, and that's what you got to do. But do that safely. So we're talking about shark bumps, and we previously mentioned request for $1 seems innocent, and a lot of times it might be. But the story in the news about the 40-some-year-old thug that ripped an 83-year-old woman out of her vehicle and stole it, that began with a request for $1 so he could buy a drink. So that is one common method of somebody approaching you in a hostile way, in a shark bump. Another is asking for the time, and they just want to get you disarmed and distracted and not paying attention to them so that they can get into your space and see if they can get something from you. So we talked about asking for a dollar, asking for the time. Here's something else I want you to think about is sometimes people do this is handshake. And so it's not something you want to be doing with strangers if you didn't go somewhere to socialize. So about 20 years ago, I was traveling. I was getting out of my truck, about to go into my motel room, and there was a guy that I could tell he was waiting for me to get out, and so he wanted to engage me. And so I, slowly opened the door and stayed behind it. And I was looking at him, and he's like, "Hey, man, don't shoot." And I thought, how does he know I'm carrying a gun? It's well concealed. But we're in Texas, so there's that. But anyway, so he gave me the story. Oh, we're both veterans, and I'm just trying to get down the road, and I could use a little bit of money or whatever. So I ended up giving him $5, I think. And when we got done, he offered to shake my hand. And as soon as we did, I thought, I've messed up now. Because I'm not getting that hand back until he's done with it. He had a far superior grip and arm strength than I did at the time, and I realized, I have no further use of my main hand that I use, and that was my weapon hand. At the time, I didn't carry anything off in my offhand, so left hand for weapons retention purposes. So it's totally at his mercy. Fortunately, he didn't want to do anything, but I learned a lesson. So years later, I was working here in the Philadelphia area, selling and installing ADT alarm systems. And one of my co-workers was approached on a street in Philadelphia by just some random dude, shark bump. And the guy came up, and his entrance was to shake my co-worker's hand. And he did that. And when he did, the guy pulled a gun with his left hand and stuck it in his shoulder and demanded his money and things. So be very, very cautious when you're out on the street and some random stranger wants to get in your space and shake your hand. Several months ago, one of my adult sons, his vehicle broke down in this area, so my other sons and I went to help. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and so we were there trying to help him. And I think at the time we were waiting for the tow truck to arrive, and we're at a gas station, and some guy came up to us, and it was a total shark bump. He tried to shake our hands, and we all just looked at him. It was awesome. So no, we weren't falling for that. And so we got him out of our presence, and then he went behind a dumpster and proceeded to relieve himself. So then we were really glad we didn't touch this guy. So there might be more than one reason why you don't want to be shaking hands in public. Not a germaphobe, but yeah, there's that you might want to think of. So we're talking about shark bumps, people doing innocent seeming things to get into your space and take control of you and possibly get things from you. And so a handshake is a possible entrance into your space that you don't want to do if you're out in public and some random stranger comes up to you. So asking for directions from a vehicle, here's something else you need to be aware of. So if you're out walking and somebody pulls up and says, "Hey, could you tell me where K Street is?" And if you're inclined to, if you know where it is and you're inclined to share that with them, don't approach the vehicle and like lean in the window, and that's a good way to end up in the vehicle and being driven off somewhere. So don't do that. So maintain your distance, maintain your reactionary gap. Stay there on the sidewalk, and the first thing you need to do is check them out and make sure they look like an innocent seeming person that just needs to find out where a certain street is. If not, if there's something sketchy looking about them, then just say, "I don't know," and keep walking. So if you're going to give somebody directions that pulls up in a vehicle, don't end up in the vehicle with them. And then last thing, my daughter actually brought this up. She said, sometimes people can lower their volume to kind of suck you into their presence. So you're talking to somebody and they start talking quietly and you kind of lean in. So be aware of that. Don't get sucked into that. Be aware that that could be a ploy to get you into somebody's space where they could take advantage of you. So shark bumps, the seemingly innocent way that a criminal can approach you to gauge if you're going to be a good victim. So be aware if it's an unsolicited contact from a stranger in a place that you didn't go to socialize. And the plan is don't comply, take charge, manage your space, maintain awareness of your surroundings, and break contact. We talked about people asking for $1, asking for time, asking for innocent seeming things. And then in this video, we went over handshakes, not necessarily a good idea, and asking for directions, how to manage that, and people lowering their volume when they're talking to you to suck you into their space. So I'm sure in all that there's something helpful. I hope so. Give me some feedback if there's some other topics that you'd like to discuss in coming Saturday security tip videos. If you can't get a hold of me, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've gotten these notifications in YouTube or Rumble, and I go to click on them and there's nothing there. So if you're trying to get a hold of me that way, just go to my website, fearnoevil.us. My email address is there. You can contact me that way. I know I'll definitely get the message from you. So stay safe. We'll see you back here next week. Hey, I meant to clarify something earlier in the video, so I'm just going to add another part B follow-up. When I say don't comply, we're just talking about a shark bump. Maybe they have criminal intent. Maybe they want to steal your money or your watch or whatever. So that's what we're talking about when I say don't comply. If they already have a gun in your face or if they pulled a knife, that's a totally different discussion for another day. So we're just talking about shark bumps when we say don't comply. Check you later.